What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Shadow Hero, and welcome to today's top 5 video. Oh, how much I love Kingdom Hearts. Definitely one of my favorite game franchises of all time, and like many people, I am super looking forward to the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. After 2 dry years of nothing regarding to Kingdom Hearts 3, we finally received an amazing trailer showcasing exactly what we wanted to see. Story elements as well as some gameplay. And just recently at D23, we got a whole new world within Big Hero 6. I mean, we were only given concept art of what the world would look like and Sora's interaction with the world, but I'm still geeking out about it. And even more recently, we got the confirmation that Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue will be released in 2016. I mean, the hype slope for this game just keeps increasing. And it's even more surprising that despite the fact that we're only getting tidbits of information as we move towards Kingdom Hearts release, there is never a decline in hype. And even with all the information we gotten so far, there's still many aspects of Kingdom Hearts 3 that we still don't know about. Now obviously we're not going to know every single thing before the game releases, but this does leave many of us speculating and dreaming of what could actually happen. And to that end, I decided to do my top 5 hopes and dreams for Kingdom Hearts 3. There's some big expectations after playing each game in the series and building up the epic conclusion to the Xehanort Saga. Several things that I really want to come out of Kingdom Hearts 3, and while I can't say for sure whether or not any of these have a high chance to happen or not, you better believe that me as well as many people within the Kingdom Hearts fanbase community are hoping that Square Enix and Disney implement these into the game. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this top 5 video started. Starting with number 5, we have no static faces. You know that awkward moment in Kingdom Hearts where we get a cutscene and the characters have pretty good animations for their facial expressions while they're talking. But then we get to the point of their conversation where they just turn fish face. Seriously? I'm so sick of seeing this. I mean, we have these characters talking, but then one of them turns into a completely lifeless model? This needs to stop. It breaks the immersion, it puts me out of the game, and makes me realize how ridiculous the characters look. It also makes me wonder if the developers were just lazy with these scenes, or were there some limitations with the engine they were using. If it was the latter, okay, that's fine. But I do not want to hear that sad ass excuse when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3. We are on the next generation consoles, the PS motherfucking 4 and Xbox One. Square, you without a doubt should be able to take this game beyond what the previous games of the series have done. Every cutscene, and I mean every single cutscene where we have a character that opens and closes his mouth and is actually speaking words, should have the best motherfucking facial animations we have ever seen in a Kingdom Hearts game. No more lifeless zombies. I don't want to see any of that. Ugh, they just look so unnatural. Moving on to the number 4 spot, we have huge post-game content. Since the first game, we've been given tidbits of post-game content, giving us reasons to turn on the game again, such as secret bosses or acquiring all Keyblades. And of course, the Final Mix versions provided even more than that, more secret bosses, enemy challenges, and more story elements. Now what I want for Kingdom Hearts 3 is, number 1, to do what Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix did and beyond. Give us more secret bosses, do the challenges with the Heartless or the Unversed or whatever enemies are within Kingdom Hearts 3. Give us multiple, huge new areas to explore, and possibly, and this might be kind of pushing it, even a completely new world. And this is something that I've always wanted in a Kingdom Hearts game in general. And this kind of relates to the secret bosses, is the ability to redo boss battles. I want to return to facing some of the bosses I faced throughout the story. I want to face them when they have more health, when they are stronger, and possibly have a new series of attacks. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix did that to an extent, allowing the player to refight all Organization 13 members again, and even fighting the Lingering Will again after defeating him. But I wanted to go beyond that. Now number 2, I don't want any Final Mix bullshit. Do not make Kingdom Hearts 3 and expect to do a Final Mix version afterwards. Don't give us one secret boss and leave us to synthesize all items, and then someday down the line, release a Final Mix version with even more content. No! Square Enix, you better be putting all your damnness into making sure that this game not only has a huge amount of content throughout the main game, but also the post game. When I complete the main story, which by the way needs to be at least 100 plus hours, I expect to still have loads of stuff to do that's gonna take another 40 plus hours. And that's no exaggeration. There needs to be a huge amount of post-game content for this game. I want there to be so much content that I have no idea where to start or what to do with it, and it frustrates me that I don't even know where to start. For the number 3 spot, we have, as crazy as it sounds, some Sora Cross Kairi action. You know what I hate in not only video games, but in multiple media sources such as like anime or movies, when a guy has a clear and obvious chance to be with a girl, but he doesn't go for it, whether or not it's because he's completely dense or just a huge pussy. Regardless, I am tired of seeing this, I guess you could call it a cliche? Can I even call this that? I mean, I've seen this stupid concept done so many times, it's practically a cliche at this point. Seriously, no one tell me they have not been begging for some Sora Cross Kairi action. Of all the cock-teased romances I've ever seen, this is definitely one that needs to happen. When I finally get the chance to play Kingdom Hearts 3, at some point in the game, I better see Sora and Kairi being more than just friends. I need to see these two hold hands or hug. Okay, they hugged in previous game, but the first one, Kairi was protecting Sora, and the second one was more of a haven't seen you in a long time, it's good to see you again hug. I need a boyfriend/girlfriend hug. Come on, Sora, cuddle with your girl, hug her from behind, rest your head on her shoulder, or share a kiss on screen for Christ's sake. Please, something happen. I don't care for how long or if it's just one scene. Something needs to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3 that will allow me to walk away from it knowing that Sora Cross Kairi is a thing. I don't know, maybe this is just an impossible dream that will never happen, but it's pretty obvious that there's some romance elements being thrown around with these two. And I know that some people will say that the romance between Sora and Kairi will not take place in this game and will probably happen in the game following this one. And I just have to say no! Considering how long it took for Square Enix to begin development on Kingdom Hearts 3, and for the game to be released for that matter, which is probably going to be what, in 2017? I'm not going to wait for God knows how long for Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever name they're planning to give it for two people to share an intimate moment together. No! I will be long dead before I even hear mentions of that game. Come on, Square, Disney, whoever. There are a lot of fans that have been waiting for this relationship to finally advance forward. And if it does not happen in this game, well, guess fans will have to make do with stupid fanfiction. And number 2 spot goes to a Pixar world. Yup, I know you were all expecting to see this one appear on this list. Every Kingdom Hearts fan has been begging for a Pixar world to be introduced since the first game. And out of all the Pixar movies to base a world around, everyone is hoping for Toy Story. Toy Story really does seem like the perfect and most likely world to be featured in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, we could have Sora, Donald, and Goofy enter the world and be actual toys. Sora could be like an action figure, Donald could be like a rubber duck, Goofy could be like a plushie, and the Heartless would take the forms of toys too. And do I really need to explain how perfect the moral of Toy Story fits perfectly with Kingdom Hearts? If I do, then you really need to go back and watch those movies. Interesting thing to know is that Nomura was actually planning to include Woody and Buzz as summons in Kingdom Hearts 2. However, the summons were scrapped for unknown reasons. Whether it was because of time constraints or legal issues, I don't know, but regardless, the fact that they wanted to include Toy Story related content in Kingdom Hearts means that if they are given the opportunity to include a Pixar world, Toy Story would likely get that chance in Kingdom Hearts 3. Though personally, at this point, I really don't care what Pixar movie gets a world. Just give us something, please! Bugs Life, The Incredibles, Brave, Inside Out, that would be actually pretty cool. Hell, I would take a Cars world. Okay, that was a lie. Hell no would I take a Cars world. Can you just imagine Sora as a fucking car? No! I don't even want to think about that. That just sounds ridiculous. I'd rather not have a Pixar world at all. Fuck that shit. But anyway, Pixar really should get some representation in Kingdom Hearts, as they have long been overdue the world, and they have a lot of movies under their belt that will fit perfectly in the game. Now, before we move on to the number 1 spot, I have one honorable mention, and it goes to everything voice acted. This kind of relates to what I mentioned with the number 5 spot, but instead of talking about facial expressions, I want to talk about those stupid ass text bubbles. Let's paint another scene for you. We enter a cutscene where all the characters are talking about some bullshit. I don't know, it doesn't really matter for the point I'm trying to make. But the key thing to keep in mind is that all the dialogue in this scene has been voice acted. Now, ignoring the obvious fish face that occasionally appears, the scene ends and we fade to black. Okay, well I guess it's over for that cutscene. Wait, what the fuck is going on? Why does it look like I'm still in the cutscene still? Why are all the characters speaking but no actual voices coming out? And for that matter, why do I have to read these stupid ass text bubbles in order to narrate and advance the story? Why? Now I'm completely okay with text bubbles showing up when I'm able to move freely and I can walk up to someone and talk to them. Don't want to recreate a Mass Effect problem here.
Shepard? Commander, good to see you. Commander, how are you? Shepard?
But why, for this situation, do we transition from a cutscene that's fully voice acted to a fucking screen with text? And again, this might all be because of hardware and engine limitations, and that's completely understandable for those periods of time. But like I mentioned when discussing the number 5 spot, we are on next generation consoles. We should not be restricted to looking at a cutscene, if you even want to call it that, and reading text. Why do we go from listening to beautiful voice acting to stupid text on my damn screen? No, that is not flying anymore. This entire scene should be one big voice acted cutscene. I do not want to see any more text bubbles in my Kingdom Hearts game anymore. But finally, for my number 1 most wanted hope and dream to be implemented into Kingdom Hearts 3 is multiple playable characters. Now don't get me wrong, I love Sora, no homo. He's super awesome, can be a little dense sometimes, but still a lovable character. I even want him to be a DLC character in Smash Bros. But it can be tiring playing one character all the damn time. Now obviously Sora will be the primary focus as he, Donald, and Goofy will be searching for the 7 Guardians of Light and the key to return hearts. Not to mention that Sora will most likely be the one to face up against Master Xenu. But there are several characters that will have important roles throughout the story as well. Riku and Mickey will be searching for the previous Keyblade wielders, this being Ventus, Aqua, and Terra. If they are successful, these 3 will most likely be assisting the entire gang. Kairi will be going through some Keyblade training under Master Yan Said. Lee probably going through some similar training as he just recently got his Keyblade, but he will possibly have another bigger role to play. Roxas and Xion may make a possible return, possibly? Who knows? All these characters we have played before in previous games, with the exception of Kairi, but we could potentially play with all of them, if not some of these characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. But how would this be implemented? Birth by Sleep did the multiple playable characters well to an extent, including 3 main story playthroughs for Ventus, Aqua, and Terra. Now this is not at all what I want for Kingdom Hearts 3. I do not want to play the entire game once then jump through it again with another character. What I would like to see happen is if they do what they did in Dream Drop Distance, but without the drop system. Instead, implement the character switching mechanic from Grand Theft Auto 5. I think it's safe to say that GTA 5 handled the multiple playable characters in one story beautifully, and it could possibly work for Kingdom Hearts 3. Sora's journey will take the majority of the main game, but because many characters are off doing their own thing, we need to know exactly what they are doing. So allow the player to switch between Riku, go through his journey of finding the previous Keyblade wielders, or switch to Kairi and play through her Keyblade training. All these events will lead to the final endgame section where Sora will be the one to finish off everything. However, if the player would like to mess around with the rest of the characters and go back to previous sections of the game, they are free to do so. Now for some reason Square decides against multiple playable characters in the main story, well, it's still possible for it to be included in another mode. This mode being multiplayer. Now who knows if there's even going to be a multiplayer mode available in Kingdom Hearts 3. And if it is, would it be implemented like the Mirage Arena from Birth by Sleep, or would it have a completely new concept? I don't know, but regardless, this will probably be the easiest way to allow players to play with multiple characters. And the best thing about this is that there will be no limitations to who could be playable. In the main story, yes, it might not make sense to play as Xion or Terra, depending on how late in the game they return, and that's if they return. But in multiplayer, that lack of continuity is overlooked, as usually multiplayer is not really canon in most games. So the player will be able to play as all the heroes and maybe some villains. Now before we wrap this up, there's one interesting thing that I want to note that supports the fact that we may actually be getting multiple playable characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. There are two interviews that Nomura hints at the possibility of multiple playable characters. The first is an interview discussing Birth by Sleep 0.2. Nomura states that this title was originally planned to be at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. However, that section was separated due to the increased amount of content within Kingdom Hearts 3. So there was going to be at least 2 playable characters for Kingdom Hearts 3's main story. We would have started off the game by playing as Aqua, finish off her story, then move on to the main game with Sora. Now obviously that idea was scrapped to make that section a standalone title within Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8. So are there still chances to play as other characters? Well, if we look at the second interview, which Nomura discusses Disney's involvement in Kingdom Hearts, but more importantly, the possibility of multiple playable characters. At the question about the possibility of 3 playable characters in Kingdom Hearts 3, Nomura states that at the moment they have nothing to disclose, but that the possibilities are there. Now while this is not concrete evidence to support multiple playable characters, as Nomura is basically just teasing us, it does at the very least give us some glimmer of hope. Personally, I would hope we could get more than 3 playable characters, but if the idea is there, who am I to question how many playable characters we're going to get? But one fact remains is that there are many beloved Kingdom Hearts characters. All their stories, all their journeys have been building up this epic conclusion to the Xehanort Saga, and while we all love Sora, he isn't a one-man wrecking machine. Kingdom Hearts 3 will be featuring every one of these characters joining and working together, and this can possibly provide the best gameplay and story. But that is my top 5 hopes and dreams for Kingdom Hearts 3. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Hit that like button, also leave a comment down below. Which one of my top 5 picks do you agree with? Also, what are your hopes and dreams for Kingdom Hearts 3? And if you want to see more videos like this one, please do hit that subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously. We all know that Kingdom Hearts 3 still has a long ways to go before it's going to be released, especially now that Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 is being released in 2016. We're probably going to have to wait till 2017, but doesn't matter. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the hype level for Kingdom Hearts is just continuing to increase, and I'm so excited to see what will be released in terms of information, anything regarding Kingdom Hearts 3 in the following year. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I will catch you all later. Peace.